Okay, so this is the beginning of the welding video, but since you'll see my face a lot in it, in one of my first videos I explained why I decided to cover my face, and that video got deleted, so I'll do it again. I have nothing to hide. I have my gun rights. I am not breaking any laws, and I'm not showing you how to do anything illegal. It's up to you to make sure you're following the law exactly to a T where you live. It's not for me to decide for everyone. And I'm not afraid of anything. But I'm doing something that I believe in and that I'm passionate about and I want to show people. And I don't want to be fucking like some of the other videos I see. People just want to fucking look cool. I don't want people to fucking know who I am. I'm not trying to impress a girl. I'm not trying to do anything but just share information that took me a while to learn. I want to give people one source to get it. I don't know. I just want the AK community to be cooler and less snobs and more real people. And I'm not trying to put myself like above anyone else, and I'm not trying to act cool. So I think I'll just cover my face and just kind of be anonymous and try to do the best videos and give the best of my knowledge I can. So that's why. When I do this, I'm going to try and make these videos fast. There's a lot to cover when it comes to this welding. You'll probably have some questions if I don't cover too much of it. So I'll try to do some layout, tell you what I'm going to do, show me doing it real quick. I want to go over two different methods though of getting these rails in at the right height. Now this is like I don't know, man, it just depends on the person really. I think some of these things don't matter. Okay, when I first started building, I'd have to run over and look at YouTube or look at some picture and see that I was putting the rail on the right side. Well, after you build some rifles, you start to really understand them and understand how they flow and work better. Here's your selector side, right? Just imagine you were shooting. You went to charge the rifle. Okay? What side is that charge handle on? When does it eject? Which way does that round go? This right here on the rail, that's your ejector cloth. Okay? So it's always going to go on the side opposite of the charge handle, opposite of the selector, and it's going to kick your round out towards the selector. The more you understand the basic mechanics of the rifles you build, the better your build will get. You know? So what I've done to kind of mock this up, I haven't riveted anything but this trigger guard. I stuck a rivet right here in this front training hole, and I put a piece of tape over it so I won't lose it, and I stuck a drill bit to this guy to hold this training in place. This is another one of those things that, you know, people argue and say this is the right way, this is the right way. The very first rifle I built, I put some gap right there because I thought about it and just thought, well, you know, if these rifles bend and have flex, they should probably have a little bit of gap between that rail. Get over here. They should probably have a little bit of gap between that rail. Oh shit! It's the rail right here and the trinion right there. Okay, that was my thinking. And later on, I learned a lot of people that are way better than me don't have any gap. They put it right there. Then you hear people say, well, you just use a business card for the gap, this and that. Man, I think it's like fucking, it's kind of like wiping your ass. It's going to do the same thing no matter what your method, if you wad it up or, you know, fold it. I've really tried to think about some of these things people bicker over. Some people say that the rail with the ejector claw has to go in first because it takes the most damage and it's got to be stronger, and so you have to weld it first. Well, that makes no sense. They're on different sides, and these aren't heat treated, this isn't heat treated, and you're going to heat treat it all at the same time. So why would fucking welding it one side or another first matter? I have no idea. I think that after you weld, something that would matter is quenching or cooling it real fast will make the metal brittle. Let it cool slow, you know. If you want to make damn sure it cools slow, wrap it with some leather. Okay, so before I got the tool for aligning rails from AK Builder, I used to do it this way. I can't remember if it was AMD 65 or Polish underfold or Polish AKs, which this is. This is the 15/64 bit, and it pretty much works as a perfect gauge for all rails. Okay, see how I got this drill bit right here? That's going to be my gauge. I'll drop that in and make that up. Now what I used to clamp this always was an Allen wrench. I cut the head off and it fit inside these rails nice. And it gave me a little distance, right? And I would butt these rails up all the way, and that's the way I do them still. I butt the rails up till I touch front trinion. And with this clamp, or with this Allen wrench up here sticking up, and my drill bit, nice there, and everything's straight and even, I would take some vice grips and clamp down and make sure this is held tight. Okay? And you can do that on both sides. That works great for the kind of welding and stuff we're going to be doing. But I finally got the tool from AK Builder to do it. I think it wasn't that expensive. It was like 23 bucks or something. When I got it, I just, wasn't impressed. I wasn't disappointed it wasn't so expensive. But it was one of those things, once I got it, I was like, I could have made this myself. But I know the dimensions now. Maybe if somebody asked, I would tell them how. I don't know if I would be breaking any patents or copyrights or anything though, so we would probably have to alter something like 35%. Maybe the holes the bolts go in and what kind of bolts you use. I don't know. That'd probably be enough to legally tell you how to use that tool and build your own. It's a pretty good design. I'm not so sure if it's more accurate really than the drill bit and the way I was setting it up. But what I can tell you is that I think it does even you up with these trinion faces a lot more. So your slide across your bolt carries across that rail nice and even and mates with that trinion nice and evenly. I do believe that tool is better for that. And I'm not going to do one side one way and use a different tool for the other. I might have cocked rails that way. I'm just going to use one tool, both sides. But I wanted to show you a way that is going to cost you 25 bucks. Alright, so I'll get that thing set up, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to mark the holes on my drill to begin my plug welds. Okay, so I already have everything marked. I forgot to plug in the microphone, so I didn't get any audio. So as you can see, things are marked, but I gotta go back and film it for you guys. It just wouldn't be right. I want to show you that drill bit method one more time. I prefer using needle nose vice grips. If you get the pressure right, you can clamp them on, have a nice, good, firm bite, and not really tear up and mar the sides of the receiver. A lot of people use these clamps. These guys, they'll walk, and sometimes they'll slide off. They're not the best, I don't think, and it can make your rail travel up and down slightly too if you're not careful when you apply these. The vice grips are excellent for welding. Right where you clamp something on, that's where you clamp it and it sticks. Now sometimes it takes 3 or 4 tries of adjusting that nut right there and making sure you get the right pressure. You can see right here how I have the rail butted all the way up against the front trinion. The only thing that I think's better about the AK Builder's tool, see if I get some better light now, I can show this better. This rail on both sides, that one piece the top part of the AK builder tool rests right here at the mouth of the trunnion on both sides. So when you clamp the other part to the bottom of that little thing, it brings those trunnions perfectly level with both these. The drill bit may not necessarily do that, but where that thing lacks from AK Builder is back here towards the end of the rail. You don't really get that support, and these things could be sagging. So you want to be sure you measure the way I'm going to show you how to mark everything. Measure these rails and make sure you have the same gap back here. But something I'm going to try to experiment with, I think. What if I used that to line everything up at the front, the AK Builder tool? But I went old school and did the drill bit in the rear. See, if you come at me and you tell me my videos are wrong, please do so in a mechanical way, because I kind of have a mechanical mind, and I'll definitely listen, but you have to make it make sense, not just, Bob told you that. What I'm thinking is, if you have this gap right here, and it runs down to the front of that trunnion, what does it matter? You're got the same gap right here and here, the same gap here and here. So you're going to have a level travel. It just might be going slightly up or slightly down, but it's not like your bolt or bolt carrier is ever going to run off the back of these rails or anything. Never. I think it's probably just important you're exact in the front and the rear. And honestly, probably the easiest thing is just ditching the AK Builder tool and using the drill bit. But I really do like to think that AK Builder tool helps line you up in the very front of the trunnion, and I think that's what's most crucial with these rails as far as getting your alignment and stuff right. I don't really think that spacing between the trunnion and the rail matters. So, I don't know. A lot of videos are conflicting. I think I should probably make this like a 2 or 3 part video, this little section of the build, because there are so many different opinions, there are so many horrible angles, and people just explain things fast. They have a 5-minute video and they don't give you explanations why. Well, I'm trying to explain why it is the way I do the things I do, and I want to understand some of it too. If you can answer some of the things that I've been saying, that I'm just like, well, I don't know, answer it for me. And I want to try and get some of these good angles and explain like why I like this instead of this, so just trying to help you guys out. Or there's really no point in making this, because there's already videos out there, just some of them I don't think are that good.